I negotiated with my unattractive husband for months before dating him. He's leaving me for a woman who sought him and alleges I disrespected him. God, I'm mad about what? Everything. Right now. This hurts so much I won't talk to my BFF. I'm shocked my hubby just told me he's leaving. Context is needed. I'm 34F and my husband is 38M. We married almost 2 years after dating for 2. I thought he was great, generous, loving, and could express his feelings, but he's been insecure for over 4 years. After meeting him, I couldn't believe he wasn't taken. All his relationships were 5 years or longer, claimed to be shy and ugly. Thus, ladies, especially attractive ones, don't want him. He's told me for years how lucky he is to have found his dream woman, and her being as attractive as me. Though nervous, I let him court me before going out with him. I didn't want to appear weak because I was terrified of his dark secret. Sweet but shy he is. He's not ugly. Though he wasn't beautiful, his magnetism changed my mind. Since our relationship was so excellent, things progressed swiftly. He was eating lunch alone outside a restaurant when this woman approached and started conversing. He showed me a picture of her since I asked. She's gorgeous. She looked better than me, scowl, and he didn't tell me much about their conversation other than that she was friendly, and they exchanged numbers and started texting more. He alleges she publicly sought him knowing he was married because she fell for him and couldn't pass it up. Since he had never experienced this before, he was anxious and excited when she hit on him. He often said that stunning women like me have it easy since we just relax and let men approach us, whereas he struggled to date. I always said that's not true, that being gorgeous has cons. He persists. Remembered how hard he tried to get me to date him. He says he met her for lunch following the initial meeting and doesn't suspect an affair. He wants to date her since she's the first woman interested in him, and I didn't have to text her for 3 months to get a date. This must end. Something like that. I forgot. But he took 3 months to date me. Because of it, he's leaving me. He feels it's okay since he wants to stay in touch but not emotionally cheat on me. He breaks up before chasing her. I'm devastated. No way I can help. Angry with him and myself. When we met, I liked him. Why did I mistreat him? If I'd spoken out, desires, and sought him instead of playing hard to get, he wouldn't like her. I thought I should act that way because it suggests a woman is easy, and I didn't want to get laid. The thing is biting my butt frown, and I'm mad at him. Neither did he cheat. He's following my advice when people fall in love. Kinda wish he cheated on me with her. That simplifies. Thanks for letting me rant. Fucked, no advice needed. Comments, yes, Matt. Such suffering. He says he doesn't feel like a beggar with a new woman. Dating is like that, right? Don't make men think we're easy. He kept talking about the 3 months after I told him I fell for him, when he started chatting to me, but made him wait. He captivated me 5 minutes into our conversation. Always said you made me wait 3 months when you knew after. 5 minutes. Although I understand his complaint, I think women do that to check a guy's honesty. I dislike him just for his appearance. Fat and prematurely bald. I would never have talked to him because of looks. After a mutual friend introduced us, I was captivated, but I told him he wasn't my type physically. I want to view it that way. No one knows him. Thanks, but I was stupid and would have labeled him a loser in college. Why she contacted him is beyond me. Not being Chris Hemsworth doesn't bother me, but I understand. Unfair though, men and women differ. I married him despite his boasts of always being ugly. Women get compliments. I had no clue men like compliments. Indeed. I never pursued men. However, I had to sort through numerous loser frowns. His honesty makes me doubt you were right about him settling for me. Honestly, I thought he loved me forever. Probably not cheated on me. That would make him easier to hate. Yes, somewhat. If I had told him I liked him right away, I would have looked easy. But he's the man, I'm the woman. Your husband doesn't get flowers, jewelry, or a massage. My experience is always that. Fear not, Lady Nivea. That pretty woman who chased him while he was married is insane and garbage, and it will be their fault. Downfall soon. Trash removed itself. Your spouse should have built his self-esteem before pursuing the first attractive woman. It's not your fault. If Spiru 1 deliberately pursued him knowing he was married, it tells a lot about her. Leaving a 4-year relationship for a hot person rarely works. I thought I was insecure, but he takes the cake. Crazy town. Sounds like you avoided a bullet. Imagine him pulling this ass after 10 years of marriage and 3 kids. Unfortunately, you couldn't have changed the outcome. This will affirm him temporarily, but he will always feel insecure and seek approval from others. It went crazy. First, many thanks for commenting. I appreciate it. Some of you caused thought. I should have known if he was furious, but this was unreasonable. Perhaps I wasn't a good wife. My fault, because I didn't show him why I loved him or try. Someone said he wanted attention. Dropping me seems wrong. I finally felt comfortable talking to my BFF, and we'll meet later to discuss everything. She'll surprise me with spa weekend. Hope to. There, wash my head. She's the best. She didn't lecture me when I was scared. Thank you, even critics, for your support. That was impossible without you. Update: a few days ago I wrote about my spouse leaving me after first discovering a lady interested in him. My post history is on my profile since this subreddit restricts links. I saw my husband for the first time since he left Friday. The meeting shook me, so I couldn't write about it until now. Since so many people have given me helpful comments, I think you deserve an update, but I wasn't motivated yesterday. Too lot to handle, so sorry for the length. Now we go. It was unpleasant, and I got the impression that he felt bad and that his actions hurt me. Many of you called him a douchebag, cheater, etc., etc. I understand and am outraged. You don't know him like I do. He is honest, hates lying, and speaks his heart, and I can feel his feelings. Was that helpful? Not much. My best efforts to paraphrase our discourse failed, so I'll miss some things. He told. I asked questions, and my head is a mess, so I'll summarize. He informed me, still loves me, but he loves the other woman more. He said Jasmine, not her real name. Although Jasmine is gorgeous, it didn't affect his decision. He stated she contacted him about a lunchtime book he was reading. Her uncle wrote the book, she says. She told my husband funny stories about her uncle writing the book. He says Jasmine shares his hobbies. Because his uncle writes sci-fi, Jasmine reads it, and they both play games. After exchanging numbers, they wrote about that, then discussed other hobbies and interests and found similar ground. 2 weeks ago, he worried if he should tell me about her since she went from acquaintance to friend. He thinks Jasmine is sincere, even though they don't know each other well enough to be friends. Explain social cues to this man. He connects with Jasmine more than me. I know we have different hobbies, but I never felt like I had to be like my spouse. I always believed opposites might complement each other. Someone who supports his hobbies makes him happier. He became self-critical. He sat down and reread his conversation history with Jasmine after leaving for his friend's place and realized she had been flirting with him before telling him she wanted more. He missed flirting, even though it didn't start that way. I saw the app on his phone from the start, and when she flirted. He may have changed it, messages, but start simple. I saw the flirting, but he regrets not realizing this previously, but it doesn't decrease his feelings for her. He suggested pursuing her earlier. That crushed me, and I cried since Jasmine frown seemed to have an advantage over me. I let his offer to soothe me go for a few minutes before seeking space again. I felt good and bad in his arms frown. Then he asked me why he leaves me, his wife, for another woman since she's so lovely. I said someone, not Reddit, claimed she was a fraud or interested in divorce and pursuing taken men. That was severely denied. They had supper last Sunday and discussed how she contacted him despite his marriage, reports say. She says she would never have done it due to her bad conscience. Had she not felt so connected, blah blah. I had trouble with that. It hurts me if it's real and more if he believes nonsense. Frown. He then discussed his dating life, virginity, and middle and high school girls' behaviors. In college and later he felt like he constantly had to initiate, battling even for a chance, and that almost all women saw him as unworthy, which made him bitter, but he also thought that someone who actually fit his attitude, temperament, and being would not have him jump through hoops, but would tell him she is interested by him. He says he loves me and was grateful for me, but he felt like a beggar and sad party, where I befriend him instead of praising and demanding. He refused to settle for me when I asked. When we started dating, I treated him better than any woman before, so he thought this was what he wanted, and never needed more until he met Jasmine. I was not with him out of sympathy, I told him. Why I made him wait 3 months, why he should court the woman, etc., and then admitted I may not have appreciated him. Now it was his turn to cry. He was grateful yet regretful he never spoke more. This seems like blaming me, I said. I swear he has twin eyes. He looked frightened, apologized many times, and said he didn't want me to think he hated waiting then. And no one is to blame, especially not me. Despite my lovely wifehood, he said Jasmine makes it different. Like a closer bond. Though he liked me, he realizes he wanted more. He realized we're incompatible, thus reconciliation isn't possible. Even if Jasmine fails, he knows he needs something I don't. I suggested marriage counseling, and he said we're incompatible. My brain tiredness prevents me from adding more. He was honest, so I think he believes what he said, but that woman may lie or cheat. He promised to monitor her funds, but she wasn't. I have no idea what to make. It hurts. It appears my marriage is over. Comments, he looked awful. He may not want to hurt me. Perhaps I want to hurt him, but frown. It's not like this is the first woman to approach him since we started dating or in his life. I suppose it's feasible since I'm hit on daily. Probably hard for him. I thought I was enough to make him frown. Was husband waistband? I now realize I did not. I assumed he wanted me and regarded myself as his treasure. I always thought marrying, loving, and being his wife was enough. He's insecure, nerdy, and closed. He just thinks he's good at law. Despite his gifts, he hated being obese as a child. Own fault. Trust his claim. His sister said this made him miserable as a child. Trying to be honest, in retrospect, I would have cherished him more. How serious would I have taken him without Jasmine? Knowing myself, I might have ignored it. The wrong choice. I don't want to appear flawless because my fuck-up showed me I'm not depressed. At least I thought. Being kind, helpful, attentive, and sympathetic is his norm. His honesty, openness, justice, and no-loss attitude rapidly melted away his appearance while we talked. Very nice man. Maybe no woman wanted him because never spoke. Levelon joked, let him go online dating will knock him off. Shatton Springer waited 6 months to say Tinder damaged him and he wanted to crawl back. I hope it doesn't happen, but she's hinting she might take him back unless she becomes furious. She needs it to progress. My ex-husband Burliwi, like this guy, was short and skinny and insecure. A school trip with one of our kids introduced him to another mom. After exchanging numbers and texting, he said he wanted to open our marriage and practice ethical non-monogamy, which I'd entertain but never push. Accepted and received dates quickly. He liked another woman who wanted to fuck him if I and her husband didn't know. He was emasculated by Tinder, whereas I had a lovely boyfriend. I reconciled with my first crush. I suggested ending the marriage, but he said it would generate bitterness. I'm happily divorced from ex, married to my soulmate, and he treats me and my kids better than ex. He cooks and cleans without being asked as a partner. After a brief relationship, he volunteers for a non-paying committee and travels on his kids' weeks off, leaving them with his mom. Strange Bot 17. Read all the original comments Oop left before this post. Assuming they did, nobody. Be sorry for her. I thought she looked awful despite remarks. I thought Trafla Girl 18 mistreated him after reading this. Anxious Monkey 527. So Jasmine started it and Oop never hit on her husband? GTFO, Oop experimented and found. Games, chasing her hubby, and working were her favorites. He learned self-respect and that everyone deserves affection. Every pot is covered. Something tells me, not being pretty didn't matter. International_weep 186. I started this article thinking, well, standard scenario where younger girl is marginally intrigued in an older guy, he throws away his life for her, and a week or two later realizes it was a mistake. She let him on for 3 months despite liking him earlier. I experienced this earlier and it was dreadful. What, she called him a college loser? You called others losers in college? I suppose he found his worth, and Op is furious that her inferior is ending the relationship.